Welcome back to Glow English, where we help you learn English through true stories from real life. This story is based on a real crime that happened in Vietnam. But to protect the privacy of those involved, we have changed the names. What you will hear is a true event, told in simplified English. Now, let's begin. Part 1. A quiet young man. N was a young man living in Hanoi, Vietnam. He looked like an ordinary student, calm, polite, and well-educated. He studied at a most prestigious university, had a clean appearance, and didn't look dangerous at all. People saw him as a gentle person, someone you could trust. But in May 2010, everything changed. His name appeared in every Vietnamese newspaper. N had been arrested for a serious crime, the death of his ex-girlfriend. The country was shocked, not only because of what happened, but because no one expected someone like him to be involved in such a case. Part 2. A complicated relationship. Before the incident, N had been in a relationship with L. She was kind and friendly, and many people said she was a sweet girl. After a period of dating, N and L broke up. Later, N started dating someone new, but he still kept in contact with L. One day, he called her and said he wanted to meet. He said he had some of her old things to return and maybe they could talk. L agreed. They met at an apartment. It belonged to N's current girlfriend Y, who was away at the time. The apartment was in a quiet area of Hanoi, where no one would expect anything unusual to happen. Part 3. The turning point. No one knows exactly what they talked about that day. Maybe there were old feelings, arguments, or misunderstandings. What we do know is that something went very wrong. Inside the apartment, N suddenly acted violently. L lost her life during that meeting. It was a tragic moment that should never have happened. But instead of asking for help or admitting his actions, N chose to hide what he had done. He stayed in the apartment, trying to think of a way to escape the consequences. This decision changed everything. For the next day, N continued to stay inside the apartment. He watched TV, ate food, and used the internet, as if nothing unusual had happened. He tried to remain calm and acted like things were normal. Then he left the apartment for a while and returned with some items. He made changes to the scene to avoid being discovered. He did not want anyone to know what had happened in that room. Later, he took parts of the evidence away from the apartment and placed them in different locations. He hoped this would prevent people from identifying L or connecting him to the case. Part 5. A family begins to worry. In May 2010, residents of a high-rise building in Trung Nguyen, Hanoi, were shocked when a woman's body was found on the rooftop. The victim was missing identifying features, so they had to rely on other clues to learn the truth. Following the trail of blood, the police noticed that it continued down to the landing on the 11th floor before disappearing. This made them believe that the incident may have started on that floor. However, after checking all the residents, no one living on the 11th floor was reported missing. So who was the victim? Could it be that someone had brought the victim from somewhere else? To answer this question, the officers quietly checked each apartment on the 11th floor. Only apartment number 1101 had not yet been accessed. Using professional methods, an officer managed to enter the apartment. It belonged to a young woman named Y, who is N's new girlfriend, who is a university student in Hanoi. Inside, the officer noticed something strange. One wall in the bedroom had fresh paint, while the others were still old. Back at home, L's family grew worried. She had not contacted them for several days. They called her friends and checked her social media, but there were no signs of her. Finally, they reported her missing to the police. The investigation began quickly. Police officers asked her friends if she had mentioned meeting anyone. Soon, they discovered she had gone to meet N at the apartment in Trung Yen. That was the last place she was seen. The police worked fast. They used CCTV cameras around the building and the neighborhood. Neighbors also said they saw him entering and leaving the apartment. The next step was to find N. Part 7. A search across the country. By the time the police discovered the truth, N was already gone. He had left Hanoi and traveled to another city. But now, his face was on the news. Posters were everywhere. People across the country knew his name. After several days, police finally found and arrested N. He did not resist. He admitted to what he had done and explained his actions. But his words could not erase the pain and shock he had caused. L's family was heartbroken. L's father and family personally went to different places to search for the missing body parts, based on L's statement. It took almost a month to recover the final important part of the body, with the help of local people living near the river. The public followed the case closely. Many could not understand how a quiet and educated man could choose such a path. Part 8. The trial. The court case happened not long after. It's proved that N planned to kill L from the moment he invited her to the apartment. His real goal was to kill and steal from her, a crime that would likely lead to the death penalty under Vietnamese law. But he tried to make it look like a murder caused by jealousy, hoping that if caught, he might receive a lighter punishment. But his plan didn't fool the experienced police officers. They quickly saw through the attempt to mislead them. The courtroom was full. Journalists, students, teachers, and everyday people came to watch. Everyone wanted to know how and why this could happen. N sat quietly in court. He answered questions, admitted his guilt, and said he regretted his actions. But his calm face and soft voice made some people uncomfortable. To them, he seemed too calm for someone who had caused so much harm. The judge listened to all the evidence and gave the final decision. N was found guilty and received the most serious punishment under Vietnamese law, the death sentence. About 4 years later, N was executed by lethal injection. Part 9. The questions that remain. Even today, many people in Vietnam remember this case. But no one can truly explain what was inside his mind at that moment. The case became a warning to society. Even those who seem kind and normal can sometimes hide dark emotions. This story is sad and difficult to hear, but it reminds us of something important. We must always listen to each other, treat people with respect, and never act in anger. A single bad decision can destroy many lives. Elle's life ended too soon. Her family lost a daughter, and the country lost a young woman who could have had a bright future. Her story must not be forgotten. Thank you for listening. Please note, this video is made for English learning only. The information is simplified and may not be fully accurate. Always check official sources if you need verified facts.